Should I?
let's, yeah.
Oh, hello everyone. I'm expecting a hello back, at least DSC people.
Hi.
Come on, it's so dull already. At least say hi, people.
Hey,
Everybody's on mute.
Finally, someone.
hi.
Hi. Hello.
I hope
Nice.
everyone is doing well. So first of all, we're so glad that a lot of you signed up because we honestly think that this is a good networking opportunity for you guys. Or not just this, like any event conducted by seniors for that matter. Since we're missing out on a lot of college and hostel interaction time, this is a really good opportunity. So also we request you to ask like any sort of related or even weird doubts that you may have, and we'll be happy to answer it at the end of the session. So let's start off. This is how the session is going to go. Okay, it won't be a long drag, I assure you. So stick with us. Me and Aaditree will be speaking for about 40 to 45 minutes combined. And then for the next 15 to 20 minutes, we'll take any queries that you may have. We've also shared a link wherein you may ask questions. I hope that you guys have the link. And if you guys are not able to see the presentation, not able to hear me, please let me know. Okay, no question is considered silly or small, so please do not hesitate. You can ask any questions that you want. We're here to help you navigate and provide you with some tips and tricks that you make informed decisions. Okay, so let's start. I hope everyone can see my slides. So up until now, you've been going from institution to institution based on your rankings and marks, right? But that won't be the case from now on. From now on, your resume will be the marks, the first point of contact, the first thing that your potential employer will see about you, and that will be the case throughout your career from now on. So the resume's main purpose is to get you an interview based on your summarization about yourself. In the next few slides, I will be speaking about the format and basic overview on how you should approach writing a resume. All right. So Adi, you can see this slide, right?
Yes.
Customization and multiple.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to have more than one resume is important because it is not one size fits all. You can't hand out the same resume for different positions and job titles. Most importantly, okay, your resume has to be relevant to what you're applying for. For example, if you're applying for a technical position, say suppose for internships or full-time positions, then highlighting and prioritizing your technical skills will be the most important aspect. Highlighting your core competencies in the projects you've done so far, explaining the projects, its relevance and technologies that used in brief. That will take the center stage, right? For research positions, highlighting projects in depth related to the research field, published papers, or even multiple projects that you may have done in the past that got you interested in this particular research position, that will take the center stage. And for management programs, one page resume with quantified and diversified accomplishments, projects, leadership responsibilities, and using compelling and impactful descriptions for your role in those projects will sort of take the center stage. So, most importantly, you may not have much to tailor right now, considering you're in second or third year, but remembering this going ahead will help you in the long run. Some of you might apply for higher studies in your fourth year and for different programs, different universities at the time of, and at the time, having your resume aligned with that particular program will help you get an interview or even admission in a large pool of applicants. If you're confused and don't know where and what even I'm going to apply for, that's okay. Applying with the right resume is the first step to figuring out further things because you get rejected up front because of your resume, even if you're qualified for the position, even if you're qualified for the job. Okay, I have a question. Sometimes we make a small projects. At that time we feel that this project is very hard and can be on our resume, but after some time we feel that it wasn't a project which actually needs a very big knowledge. Should we put it on resume or not? Okay, so whoever has asked this question, can I get a bit more clarity on this? What do you mean by small project and like big knowledge?
Okay. I think we can go on in this only because the person probably is not comfortable. Okay. So you
But
make
I
small
think
projects. You have many projects. Yeah. So you have small projects. Suppose you have your mini projects, college mini projects, something that second years will be starting with this year. So, and you feel maybe you've done a very simple project and you don't want to put it in your resume. So what you can do is, or you always put your projects in descending order, right? So you can always put them at the bottom. If you do not want your interviewer to see them at the top or one of your first resumes, which is something an interviewer looks at. So what he or she will look at first is your first project that you've done. And it usually happens because that's what his or her eye falls on first. No project, on the other hand, no project is small. It may be considered small. I mean, with respect to you, you might think it's not that great because you see your peers or maybe your seniors, but everybody has different skills and you work to the best of your capability with that project. And you should never feel wrong about showcasing it. You should never feel wrong about showcasing your cases, your project, because you might have seen on LinkedIn there are very simple projects that people showcase, very simple projects, tic tac toe, but it shows that they've learned something and people appreciate it when they know, they see that you've learned something and you've implemented something on top of it. So do not consider any project small, that it's probably not right that I put it on resume. Assignments are different. Assignments are maybe like one page, one class or one page long. That's okay if you don't put it. But projects, full scale projects, no matter how small, should always put it on your resume for your interview to see. As second years and third years, you may have lesser opportunities to try out for projects otherwise, other than college. So every project that you do, try putting it on GitHub or making a video on it, or even putting it on resume, because it is important. It is showing your skills. I really hope that answers your question.
yeah, and like I'd like to add, just if you've taken true knowledge from that project, if you've actually implemented it on your own, if you've actually learned something from it, then go ahead and put it, right? There's no harm because you've learned something from it. So even if somebody asks you that it's simple project, a lot of people do it, it doesn't matter because you have taken away some valuable skills from it. All right. So it's okay if you put small projects, and since you're in second or third year, you may not have big projects or you may not have done a lot of projects to put on your resume. So it's fine. Go ahead and put it. Okay. So, like I was saying, that applying with the right resume is the first step. Okay. Yeah. So, like I was saying, that applying with the right resume is the first step, and you get rejected upfront because your resume is not right. Okay, so we're again trying to highlight, and the main point of this workshop or discussion was that tailor your resumes time and again for the position that you're applying for, right? Research on what sort of resumes are preferred and then format your own. See, we're not going to provide you with templates, but what we've done is that we've pulled some really cool and diversified collection of real resumes from LinkedIn. And some of them are our of own Cummins College alumni. And we've created and put those in Google Drive folder, which we'll be sharing with you. So you guys can take a look at it, study it, get a gist of how to write for what positions and what not to include and mention sort of things. So we're going to show you two samples further in this workshop from that folder itself. So you guys can take a look at it for your future reference also. Now about the format of the resume. So the first and the foremost thing to begin with is the format and the layout of your resume. Right. For this, I would suggest before anything else, before you even begin looking for templates or anything, You need to first pen down roughly all the things that you want to put on your resume. No categories or anything here, just free writing on what you want people to professionally know about you, your 10th marks, your 12th marks, college CGPA so far, projects, extracurricular activities, achievements, awards, etc., etc. Write those things down. See, your resume is not going to be about you. It's going to be about you and the position that you're applying for. So go ahead and customize it according to what you have done professionally so far and what is relevant to the position that you're applying for. The next question is what all to cover, right? While writing like sections, subsections. So before you begin with that sort of thing, write a short summary about yourself. What your USP is, what is your unique selling point, what motivates you, what are you interested in. Right? This brief summary is introduction to your potential employer and it highlights your skills. Okay, not all resumes will contain the summary. Will cover that point because like you have multiple resumes for different types of programs and positions. But this is the starting point for your resume. And the next most important thing is your point of contact in the resume. I am emphasizing this that there should be only three personal contact information points in your resume, right? Nothing more at all. First is your name, your phone number, and your email ID. Not your sign, not your date of birth, or even photograph for that matter, unless exclusively mentioned. Right? If you are applying online, please include your LinkedIn ID as well. And while formatting your resume, you can cover the sections in the following order. But it's up to you. I mean, if you want to skip some sections, but importantly, these are what are covered. First is your personal information. Obviously, it should be at the top. Your objective or summary follows. Then your education, followed by projects or work or research experience, followed by extra and co-curricular activity, followed by awards or achievements, and then volunteer experience, hobbies, or any special skills that you may have. Like you may be bilingual, trilingual, or all those languages that you can speak or you've taken tests for. Now, while writing these sections, be sure to remember that you write in reverse chronological order, listing your present and the most recent project achievements first, and then working your way backwards. Aditri, would you like to elaborate on the sections of the resume?
Sure. Okay. So, as freshers, what I would suggest is right after your first, you could say block is your personal information. Uh, if you're including, suppose you have a really good technical blog also that you would like to showcase because your position is entailing you to do so. Suppose you're applying for, say, a technical writing position, then and LinkedIn ID and probably maybe even your GitHub ID. Always put those as hypertext. So if you're applying online and you want them to see, do not write the entire thing. You just have to put in your, maybe you could say GitHub and mark it as a hypertext. You can do all of this in Word. So mark it as a hypertext and it'll directly take them to your GitHub or LinkedIn ID, as in how they've specified it. After that should come your education. So, okay, in education, if your CGPA is decent, good, really good, put it. If you think your CGPA is somewhat maybe on the lower side and you're not comfortable with putting it, do not put it. But then highlight the other points of your resume. So there is your education, in which suppose on the left side you would write your for every block, your college, your 12th, and your till 10th. Whatever you write, everything is a block. So probably your college name, your stream, and on the right side should come your start and end date. So for fourth years, it would be 2017 to 2021. So for second years, the same, it would be 2019 to probably 2020, so to 2023. So like that. And your score underneath that. So maybe that's your first. After that, you could put your so after that you could put your project internship experience, so work experience, and then probably project or otherwise also works. If you don't have work experience, internship experience, miss that column. Having every uh Like every block isn't necessary. Whatever applies to you, just put those. Now you would have seen our college format
Yeah, we'll
in
come to
our,
that. We'll
yeah,
come to that. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So we
So
have a few questions actually. First one
okay.
is how many good projects should we be done with by the end of TY ideally? Okay, so the answer is that there is no number for this. It is up to you. But when people usually write their resumes, there are at least three projects mentioned in the project section or research section of the resume, whatever section that you're including. There are at least 3 points, three projects that are covered. So even if you've done many projects, that is fine. Go ahead and mention them because I'm assuming that you've played a part in it. You know what you've done, so three projects would be ideally the not obviously more than that, but top three projects is what should go on your resume. Even if you've done more than that, I would suggest pick top three and then go ahead and write in your resume.
So
The
the one
second,
that
yeah, go ahead.
so the one that you're subse well versed with, like you think like this is your top one, put it right on the top. So go in descending order. Like this is my best project, and then just go one after the other.
Yeah, then the next question is, should we add our hacker rank badges and other competencies on our resume? Also, how important is it add to the certificates received from Coursera Udemy? Okay, so we're going to cover this topic. Just wait for 5 or 10 minutes. We're going to cover all of that. Um, then the next question is, there are restrictions when it comes to using template given by college. How can we deal with that? How can we still present a good resume? We will come to that also. 5 or 10 minutes. Okay. So shall we move on? We just have 1 or 2 slides left, guys. Then we'll take all of your questions. Okay, right. So we don't have any more questions. So yeah, this is one-page resume. So this is sort of like a one for a management program. But what I wanted to really show in this resume is the format and the way it is aligned and presented. So you can use this format to create your first ever proper resume. Because it's one page, it will be easy. And writing your top three projects, combining sections, that is also fine. So you can notice how easy it is to read. It's not lengthy and it's not lengthy in format, which will be the case for second year students and some third year students when you don't have much to mention and you're still in the middle of working on things. So for applying for internship, even through college, um, this is the sort of thing that we would encourage that you stick with because the alignment, the fonts in used in this resume, they're impeccable. And if you are to stick with this sort of style, the reason why we're saying is because you will be applying through the TNP. Even if you're applying through the TNP, you will be still applying in a mass pool of applicants. So one page resume is usually preferred when you're applying in a mass pool of applicants. We have a question again. If I participated in any college competition like Robocon, should we mention it in the resume? Guys, we'll come to that. We're gonna cover all of that related to our college. Um, Now this is a two-page resume, right? See, one of the dilemmas that people face is whether our resume should be one page or two page. It truly depends on the position that you're applying for. One page resumes are encouraged for new professional people entering in the corporate world as such, like applying for internships and full-time positions. You know, Two-page resumes are for usually master's programs, PhD programs, research positions. If you've done a lot of projects, then two page resumes are really ideal for that, and maybe for pure core technical roles. So you can notice how work and project experience is explained in depth along with highlighting technical skills. So that's the sort of format you may pick up for research and master's program. Even if you're applying for research programs to, let's say, IIT Bombay or Indian Institute of Management, which some of you might, very few actually. So these sort of resumes work really a good charm when you're applying for those sort of positions because when you um, use these when you're applying for research positions, the thing is that your supervisors scrutinizes your resume. go over your resume, right? So it will be taken seriously. So that's the kind of thing that these kind of two-page resumes are for. Then one-page resume, like I said, uh, it's not taken that seriously when applying through college internships and placement because you have aptitude tests and interviews. However, some companies and interviewers may look at your resumes during interview time. So having a crisp resume is encouraged. Otherwise, this sort of format is also great for technical and research jobs. Also, linking your GitHub repository is perfectly fine. Just make sure that you attach the link when you edit the PDF. Okay. Now, to all your questions about college, Robocon, HackerRank badges, and everything. First of all, I'd like to start with no school stuff, please. Do not write any achievements, any scholarship, any marks, any Olympiads, anything from your school. Your professional life starts from your college. You have to start everything that you've achieved, any awards, anything at all. Start from college, okay? You can mention your 10th marks, 12th marks, that will obviously come in the education part, but nothing other than that, okay? Scholarships, same throughout college. Achievements throughout college. Seminars that you have delivered through college. Awards, scholarships, extracurricular activities, clubs that you are in college and outside college, obviously, but through the college, 4 years of college. Special skills or other technical skills through college. Nothing from high school or school, please. Okay. Now, the second, the one of the questions that we had was about. We have a new question. What kind of awards should we mention? Okay. Aaditree, do you have an answer for this? What kind of award?
Yeah. So, awards, honor and awards could include probably any scholarships that things like top scholar awards, excellency awards, stuff like that. There is also scholarships that you could have won through college, outside of college.
Outside of college, yeah.
Through college, outside of college, both works. There are some scholarships through college, but it applies on your. There are some conditions through which you can apply for them. Like Goldman Sachs is there. You can apply for that through college. Then what else? Publications. If you are into research, then if it's a conference paper or if it's a paper for a journal that's been published, that counts as an honor. You can always include that. You should include that. In fact,
Definitely.
it makes a very big change if you have a paper, like if you have a paper in any journal or in any conference paper, or if you've ever presented a paper and you won something for it. So
Look,
things like that
any
you could
sorts of
include.
awards are fine, yeah, but they should be throughout those should be the college experience fine.
Yes.
Like if you're a first in some debate competition, go ahead and mention it. If you're first in some swimming competition, go ahead and mention it. It is an award, right? It doesn't have to be technical. It can be non-technical also. If it's some sort of scholarship that you've secured through aptitude, go ahead and mention it. It can be anything, okay?
It just has to be during your college years, the 4 years of college.
Okay, the next, yeah. So one of the other points that we wanted to, the question and the point that we wanted to cover was restriction regarding college format. Okay. So guys, I know third year people have been, I think you guys would already have received the college format for resume. We are going to mention this very subtly. It's sort of a form. Please do not use it outside college. Okay, that college format resume. Okay, there are see for the companies that you will apply for. Some companies will ask for your resume and ask for you to submit it online on their job portal. So when you have that sort of opportunity, use your own resume. Do not submit the college format resume because college is not going to go ahead and check with them if you've submitted that resume. Okay, college has just provided you with a format and they say that you need to stick with it, but that sort of thing is when you are in college and when college sort of checks if you are using that resume. But there are very less companies that check if your resume is in the college format. Okay,
Yes.
so we would encourage 90% of the time, don't use that college format. Make your own resume. Okay, I know college has some restrictions, but to be honest, they're not going to check. So
See, the
please
main
use your
reason,
resume.
yeah, so the main reason that it exists, it's not even a resume, it's a bio data. And the main reason that it exists is because it makes it easier for the people who are coming on campus to look through the information because they don't have to search separately. So it's more convenient for them, and it'll probably be easier for them. But to make it an advantage on your part, since everything is online, make your own resume so that they know how professional you can be. A good resume also showcases your sense of perfection in a way. Like
Yeah, true, absolutely,
how well,
100%.
yeah, how detailed and how concise your resume can be portrays a lot about yourself, more than you would realize on an interviewer side. And when suppose there are, say, a group of five people who are going through resumes, separate resumes, they'll have maybe 10 seconds to go through a resume, like a single resume. And if the resume doesn't attract them in a first glance and they can't see the information that they want to by looking straight at it, they won't consider it. They might just keep it aside, and maybe if they have space, then they'll go back and check it. But if it's something that makes them take a second glance, then they will pick it up and read it completely. And that's what you want. That's what you want, especially if you're applying through LinkedIn or through career portals, or in
Now,
actually specifically through LinkedIn. You get a lot of internships through LinkedIn if
yeah,
you have a
also
good resume.
speaking about college, okay, so second years you might apply for internships next year, and third years, I know you guys are applying for internships right now. So your resume is not what they see first, because you have aptitude tests and then interviews. But sometimes what will happen is some interviewer will ask to look for your resume, and that time, or some interviewers might already have your resume. So that time it will make a difference, because that interviewer is not aware about the college format. Okay, he doesn't care what the college format is. He doesn't even know that there is a college format in the first place. So if you have a different resume, you will stand out. Okay, and they're not gonna go and tattletale to college authorities that, oh, this person used a different format. No, that is not going to happen. So go ahead and use your own format, and we would encourage you to have multiple resumes, at least to begin with. Okay. The next question was about mentioning about certificates from Coursera, HackerRank. Okay, HackerRank badges, a strict no. Do not mention your HackerRank badges, please, because a lot of people get a lot of HackerRank badges. There's no point in that. It does not make you stand out. Do not mention your HackerRank badges. Okay. The next question was um, about the Coursera, Udemy, and the certificates that you get from all these MOOC courses. So it don't, if you've done like 10 certifications and you're writing all of them, there is no point in that. That just shows that you're not learning anything from college, but you're learning actually online. Okay, if you've done two or three, but most importantly, you have used those skills or what you've learned into an actual project outside Coursera's guidance, then put those certificates. Otherwise, there is no point in mentioning that I have done machine learning course from Coursera, I have done data science in Python. None of that matters if you have not applied it practically in a project on your own, or in a mini project, or in a group, or whatever. Okay, because a lot of people do these certificates and it's not making you stand out any different. Okay, the next question is about what all skills and projects need to be displayed on LinkedIn profile to make it attractive to get internships. Attractive in the sense, okay, skills and projects is up to you, right? What projects or what kind of, see, just to get internships, just to attract somebody's attention, don't do projects in machine learning and data science. If it genuinely interests you, then go ahead because you're going to soon lose interest in it and it's not going to matter. Okay, if you, I know a lot of people who will be doing machine learning and data science courses right now, but if it's genuinely interesting you, then go ahead with it because there's no point in writing in your LinkedIn bio about a right like a machine learning enthusiast and a data science enthusiast. That's not going to get you an internship. If you are genuinely interested, go ahead, do a lot of projects, research, and you can put any sort of projects on your LinkedIn profile, to be honest, even your mini projects. Link your GitHub repo, showcase what you've done, project documentation, maybe. Uh, Invite your group members for collaboration. Aditya, do you have anything to add to this? What sort of skills and projects need to be displayed on LinkedIn profile to make it attractive to get internships?
Okay, so like Mitali said, I would suggest put all your projects. So LinkedIn is a place where there is no limit. So you can put, if you've done a project, go for it, put it. If you have certifications, try not to post about it, rather add it in your certifications thing. So there's been a lot of backlash because they do not really prove anything. Now, if you've done a certification and you've done a project on, then
Yeah,
can
that
put it
stands
as a
out.
post together, and that will stand out. I will give you an example. uh, I'm not sure how many of you have seen Chanchal Chaudhary's post. It was of a driving game. She had done an IOT course, and on the basis of that, she had created this self this sort of a driving self-driving game where she had say a mock sort of
It's a virtual reality.
wheel, and she could, yeah, yeah, and that got a lot of reach because she proved, like she showed something to prove that she had learned something, and it got a very big reach. Like, you can go and check out her post on LinkedIn, it got a very big reach. So when you have, the main point is, when you have a certification and you have something to prove for it, then you can portray it. Otherwise, you can put it as a certification, uh like you can add it as a certification on your LinkedIn. One other thing is, if you want to make it attractive per se, you can do the skill assessments that LinkedIn provide that prove that you have the necessary skills. That is also something some recruiters do check to see that, I mean, you've shown that you've done these certifications, then why not do the skill assessment provided by LinkedIn, because it's not that hard. So if you're genuinely confident, it's okay. There are a lot of chances to retake it, and the results do not show up anywhere even if you fail. So try taking those as well, because that also comes into your skills. So you can do that. Other than that, when you okay, so Mitali had mentioned, you can add in your projects. When you add in your projects, there will be a short description box as well where you can describe your project. So try describing it in like a few lines so that the person knows, what exactly you've made without actually going into the bigger documentation. If he's interested, he'll go, but he'll know what your base project was. So if he's very interested or he genuinely likes it, then he can go and read about it further. But he or she still has a brief about what it was. So you can do some of these things.
So the other
Continue with
question was, should we, if I participated in any college competition like Robocon, should we mention it in the resume? See, I understand that second or third years don't have a lot to write on their resume, and it's okay because see, you're sort of in the middle of building up your resume. So don't panic. Keep working on your projects. Keep working on college projects, your own projects. Participate in a lot of events, hackathons, and whatever you've done so far, you can keep adding on your projects. Okay. So if you have participated in the Robocon, let's say competition, what you've learned from it, that that you can put on your project. Okay, just showing that you've participated in a lot of events. It's not really standing out anything, right? Other thing is that to fit in one page, don't cramp up your resume into multiple columns. Okay, I've seen a lot of those sort of resumes. Curate a sleek and uncluttered design. Okay, and most importantly, proofread your resume because there are a lot of spelling mistakes, grammar mistakes. Do not make that, please, because that's a big turn off. Even if you have done a lot of projects and it's relevant, it's a turn off. Okay, it's not very impressive. And do not use pronouns like I, we, you, nothing. Use strong and relevant adjectives. I would say we have sort of made a Google Drive folder, like I was talking before. We put a PDF there of all the adjectives that you can use to describe your projects and everything in your resume. You can go over it. You can add those adjectives in the project description. Also, it's okay if you want to ditch the summary or personal objective statement, okay, because that keeps changing every now and then, and I'm aware of that. Also, uh, I know that you guys are in the middle of building up your resume. You might not have a lot to write, and that's a real question. So it's okay if your projects also don't follow one course of topic. Like one project is in, let's say, data science, the other is in data structures, the other is in some sort of visualization Python library. It's okay. Diversified projects in your resume showcase that you are open to any sort of project that might be given to you for the position of responsibility during internships or full-time positions. Okay, so that's actually brownie points. It's okay if your projects are diversified and they don't follow a certain topic. Right now, you're just exploring, so keep doing that. Also, the other thing that we wanted to, yeah, about volunteer experience and extracurricular activities and all that, do not lie. Please do not lie in your resumes because there'll be some wacky interviewer that will, grill you on that thing for the entire allotted time of the interview. If you lie there, they can catch you. Okay, don't think that they will not know. They do know, they do understand things. They are always two steps ahead of you. So do not lie in your resumes and make sure that you know what you've written. Okay, the projects that you've mentioned, make sure you know what you've done, you know what part you've played. Okay, you know know what part you've played in the sense you know what your role was in the project, what you did, whether you handled the front end, back end, or team management, project management. That's fine. Okay, so just make sure you know what you have written. So final words in the sense, just to sum up this quickly, then we'll take a lot of your questions. Um, See, make your own resume, choose your own format according to your convenience and what you think suits and highlights your accomplishments the best. Okay, we're not going to provide you with templates and anything. Just go out there, research, see a lot of references. We've provided a Google Drive for you. Go through that. You know, take help from reference series and check out relevant information. And you, like I said, make sure you know the projects that you've done and see to it that your resume is readable, simple, clean, neat, and properly aligned. Like, don't use fancy formats, unnecessary styles and aesthetics, loud colors just to make it look pretty. And make sure that it looks same across all word processing formats like docs, PDF, and extract, etc. You need to check that out, how it looks in different processing formats. And see, sit down, make rough drafts, dedicate some major time to make a good resume. After all, it's your own, okay? You are the one selling yourself for that job or that position with your unique selling points. So don't use, um, I don't know, don't copy somebody's CV. Just change the major parts of it. Okay, now we have a lot of questions here. Okay. What kind of resume should we build in order to get a research internship? So research internship requires that you follow a certain course of topic. Okay. Uh, See, your projects has have to showcase that what got you interested in that particular research position, and you can showcase that. Okay, this let's say let's take a topic, cloud computing. So if you are applying for a research and internship under some professor at IIT Bombay, let's say, uh, so say suppose he's working on some part of cloud computing. So what got you interested in that project that he's working on? You need to mention that through your project. You need to say it out loud through your project, right? Okay, I've done this XYZ project. I've done this XYZ project. I attended this conference. I did this certification course. I like this part of it. I've done this sort of math courses based on that. So that sort of things are important for a research internship. Okay, the motivation behind a particular topic, why that topic interests you, that is more um, relevant and important for research internships, I would say. And if you are applying for research internships, then I would suggest go for a two-page resume with in-depth explanation of your resume of projects. Sorry. The next question is, can you mention MOOCs on done on audit? Yes, you can if you have a relevant project to showcase for it. Aditri, do you have anything to say for this? Can we mention MOOCs done on audit?
Okay, so there are some MOOCs that, such as probably you've done a course from MIT Open Courseware on YouTube, and there isn't something to show for it because it's a theoretical course. Then also it's completely fine. You can put it up as you audited Introduction to Algorithms from MIT Open Courseware. So that is fine. That's completely fine because you did it to add on to what you're learning in college right now. So if you think it's relevant, if you genuinely learned something from it and it wasn't something which you skimmed through, then that's completely fine if you add it. But if they do ask you something that is probably not taught in college and was taught in MIT Open Courseware because it's a very famous course, then you have to also be ready to answer those sort of questions. So if you're super confident in it, then you can obviously add it.
Also, guys, please stick with us because we're going to share a very important Google Drive folder with you that will help you more than what we've presented so far. Okay, it'll help you to make your resume. Okay. This next question, Aditri, we have is, I have done some promotion internships. Can I mention those in some column of my resume? Promotion internships.
Okay, I think there would be campus ambassador. So if you've been a campus ambassador, you can add it in your extracurricular. I would say just add it as a separate extracurricular. Like I was the campus ambassador in this year in say 2019, 2020. Or if it's an internship, like you've received a certificate saying or to whomsoever it would concern wala internship letter, then you can put it up as an internship on your LinkedIn profile and on your resume. If it counts as an internship and you've received a letter which proves that it was an internship and not just a campus ambassador thing, then you can go ahead with it.
Internships that you give in your resume have to be technical or research based, or they have to have some work. Okay, promotional internships and those sort of things, they go in your extracurricular uh, section of the resume. You can just showcase that you learned a lot of time management and coordination sort of skills from it.
Hmm.
Nothing technical. The next question is, can we mention the online free internships we do online, the ones which are more like courses?
This would be training ones, I'm guessing, the training courses. So what we've been told in our third year was that trainings are not internships. If you're taking an online training course where you do a course and they give you a project to do and you have to pay for it, that is not considered as an internship. Then after our third year, when we had to do our compulsory internship, this is something that we were told to avoid.
Yeah.
So I would suggest that you find it will be better if you find a proper internship rather
Or,
than going for training.
and instead of doing that, guys, the honest advice is do your own projects. Form a group with your colleagues or go on your own. Just do your own projects. You'll learn a lot more than doing anything online. Paying for internships, doing those promotional internships. It's not going to help you technically. So that's just an honest advice from our side, I would say. The next question is, can we mention college club on it as well? College clubs will go in extracurricular activities, but along with that, if you just mention that I was a member of so and so club, you also have to mention the things that you did as a member in the so and so club. What was your position of responsibility? What did you do? That is important. So you can go ahead and mention college club. Yeah, do remember that you have to mention what you did as a member. If I mention a project in my resume, to what extent do I need to explain about it on that resume? Is a short summary enough? Yes, absolutely. A brief, short, crisp summary about your project is enough, because if the interviewer is interested in that project, then he will ask you more about it naturally. So just a 3 to 4 line summary, nothing more than that. Next question is, should we mention skills like MS Office, Advanced Excel in the resume, because these are very common skills that almost everyone has? Yes. No, actually, MS Office and Advanced Excel are not common skills. It's not as common as you think it is. So go ahead and mention it. These are skills after all. Um, Next question is it important to have a LinkedIn account? Aditri,
I'm sorry, is it important to have a?
LinkedIn account.
Yes, it's very important to have a LinkedIn account. LinkedIn is your
What?
how
What?
would we say? It's your professional, like Facebook is your social account to meet friends, Instagram account to meet friends. LinkedIn is your professional account. And the kind of interactions that you have with people on LinkedIn, the kind of projects you showcase, even if you do not uh, have a lot of projects or you do not post much, try to hold interactions on LinkedIn. It showcases a lot about what your type of personality is and what you think, and what your process, what you think basically about different situations, about different topics. So keep a LinkedIn account and keep it up to date. These are like
Yeah.
two things that I would suggest you should do, because every recruiter
If
usually
you
does go through your LinkedIn account, even if they do not say they do. um, if you write like things that they might not believe you have done, they will go and check on your LinkedIn account and see. And especially if you've posted it, they will go and check on your LinkedIn and GitHub account to see, does that person have something to show for it.
also,
So keeping a
if
LinkedIn account is
if you're not active on LinkedIn, if you're not liking posts or not posting a lot, that is fine. You can increase your network. A lot of people from our college are on LinkedIn. You see, networking is really, really, really important in your professional career, guys. Please have a LinkedIn account. Connect with your fellow colleagues. Even if you don't know them, just connect with them, because you don't know, this XYZ person might be of some help to you or some connection to you in the future for a particular job that he or she might know about. Okay, so, and besides, there is a LinkedIn Cummins College alumni group there, and a lot of our alumni are at really good positions out there, pursuing master program, PhD programs. Some of them are at Facebook, some of them are in Silicon Valley. So it is absolutely important, if you want to connect with them, to have a LinkedIn account. Okay. The next question is, how important is it to mention internships on your resume? What if I haven't done many? Don't mention them. Just mention your projects then. It's okay. I mean, I understand that you might not have done internships. Even I did not. Personally speaking, I did my first ever proper internship was in third year, just about 3 months ago. So don't mention it. Just mention your projects. My first resume only had projects that I had done. Okay, so it's not at all important. It's not at all even expected to have an internship from your side if you're in second or third year. Okay, if you've done it, well and good, obviously. But if you're not, skip that part. Just mention your project. How much does CGPA matter,
okay.
Aditri?
Yeah. So keeping a CGPA above seven is like the default. The reason is that if you're applying through college, you won't get a lot of chances to sit for companies if your CGPA is below seven. Some companies go even higher. They go 8, 8.5, 8.3 was the minimum for Walmart labs last year when we were sitting for internships. Uh, Deutsche Bank was 8 last year. So keeping a 7 is a minimum. If you think you are lagging behind in terms of studying, or you think you aren't, you have doubts, and you think your peers might not be able to help you that much, reach out to seniors. They will have notes, extra notes, guidance that you won't get anywhere else. So you're in second year, especially second and third year, try raising your CGPA to at least a 7, 7.5. If your CGPA is at 7.8 or something, 7.7, 7.8, try stretching it to an 8. An 8 is great. You get to sit from most companies, almost all companies that come to our college with an 8. 7,
Confident that you can get in through the companies that have nil criteria like Microsoft or Goldman Sachs, by all means. Okay, keep whatever CGPA you want. If you're not, then please maintain a CGPA above 7, 7.5.
yeah.
Try to reach till 8. Because some companies might say that they have a 7.5 cutoff, but when they actually come to college, they might just release a new shortlist of uh, students who will even qualify for the 4 aptitude test that they get to sit for online. So you can't never be sure about what is the actual cutoff. Okay, so it's good to have a decent CGPA.
Hmm. And they might just release shortlist. So they'll say it's 7.5. They'll release the shortlist saying that they're only taking in 100 students. You would realize the minimum actually got raised to 8. And you cannot do anything in that situation. Other than that, with respect to CGPA, I would say have 0 backlogs. That is an automatic removal from most jobs or job prospects. Try not to have backlogs. Like, just don't, because it actually puts like a blotch on your grade card. And I know situations hote hai, so sit for re-exams and like dead backlogs are okay. Try not to keep one. In fact, try not to keep a backlog, because it makes a very big difference that you don't realize, especially when you're going through college. Work hard, even if it's one night before the exam. Study as much as you can and get it to a decent like a decent mark. Just do not get a backlog. This is like a red thing. Like, don't. It's something that everybody should remember.
Where do we mention the training internships that we do? Training internships, extracurricular activities, co-curricular rather. Next question is which project should we do in the starting of second year? Oh my god.
Okay. So your first mini project will be at the end of your first semester in second year, which will be a mini project that you have to showcase. So you can start there. And if you get a lot of knowledge and stuff and you want to try it on a different project, then you can go on from there, because you're just beginning, you're just starting out in second year. Like, the core subjects are taught to you in second year, starting from second year. So it's okay if you don't do anything like in the first semester, you're focusing on college, and your first mini project is your second year first semester project. It's completely fine, and you can just start building on from there.
Try to understand, focus on the core subjects in the second year. That is a sincere advice because that will help you, that will be the foundation for the most good and high level projects that you will do in the future. Right? If you've done a MOOC course online, then you can by all means use all the core things that you learn like data structures to make your own project. So that would be the starting point in second year. The next question is I'm from SY, so could you suggest some projects to start with?
That would depend on your
Interest.
like your
Yeah.
field of interest.
Data
So,
structures. Begin with data structures.
and choose your choice. There is no restriction on choice. It may seem like they're teaching you C++ in your first semester, Java in your second semester, and then they just move on with Java. Do not consider it as you can go with so much more. There's for backend C++, Java, C,
C,
Python.
C sharp.
Choose your language and start learning it alag se. There's front end also. There's HTML, CSS, Bootstrap. You can JavaScript. There are basically a lot of languages that are not taught to you, but you have a lot of options out there. So if you do not like coding in a certain language, or if you do not find it as simple, and you really want to do backend or suppose like with DSS assignments, I would suggest you could start. And if you're interested in machine learning, start with Python. You could probably enjoy it. It's very simple to start off with, and the coding is that hard. But
But one
if
thing,
you
stick
want to
to
go to
one
front
language.
end,
Stick to one language in the sense, learn multiple languages, obviously, by all means. But know one language, at least one language, well to an advanced level. Okay?
yes.
Libraries, data structures, code concepts, whatever. No, just know one language to an advanced level. You can learn all the languages that you want, but you have to have good knowledge about one language at least. Pick one of your choice. Next question is, what about the student panel? How elaborately are we supposed to mention that? Student panels will go in your co-curricular activities,
Yeah.
right? And
And,
just the position of responsibility and what sort of things that you did. Nothing more than that.
and the year that you were in the student panel. That's it.
If I have to choose between a project and an internship, what should I go for? Well, it depends. If your internship is some kind of a mass marketing strategy like Intershala or Unschool kind of a thing, do not go for it. Choose your own project. But if your internship is some legit, like if you've gone from some your own point of contact or at some corporate company where you know you're going to learn some technical skills, then by all means go ahead and do the internship. But make sure that it's legit, you get to learn something, and that you have some mentors throughout the internship. Then I had my CGPA 7.2 in first year. Will I face any problems later? You won't face any problems, but try to improve your CGPA. That should always be the goal. It should not be stagnant. Okay, your CGPA should not be stagnant. Aditya, would you like to elaborate on that?
Um, yeah, so you're in your first year. I think it's fine. Don't take a lot of tension with that. You have 3 more years. You can always increase your CGPA. So focus on for the first semester. This is like a great time because you don't have to focus on pretty much anything else right now. So focus on college. When they teach you something and you do not understand it, go on YouTube, look up for the same thing taught by somebody else. Could be an Indian YouTuber, could be a channel, doesn't matter, and go read about it then and there itself. Do not prolong it. This is something that will help you when it's exam time. So, increase your CGPA. Try not to make it drop because 7.2 is decent, but once it drops below 7, it's like it's not basically good. It doesn't portray a positive outlook on
Will ask
yourself.
you why did your CGPA drop. So you have to have a solid reason. Like you were doing 10 other projects, you were doing 3 other projects, you were managing this and that. If you have that, then it's understandable. But if you don't, then don't let your CGPA drop. Okay,
If you were
maintain it to
sick,
a certain level.
yeah, if you were sick or if something really bad happened, you couldn't attend college. These things happen. These are normal things. These happen to a lot of people. But make sure that you have a valid reason, and your reason doesn't come down to I didn't study, because that is the worst reason you could give. I mean, that shouldn't be a reason that your CGPA dropped because you didn't study and you thought you would pass because it's online. Especially this year, it's not going to be easy. So you need to, start being serious from the get-go, especially second years. Third years have a little more experience. They've gone through it in second year. They know their priorities, some of their priorities right now. Second years, you just gone through your first year. You've had all sorts of subjects. You had physics, chemistry, math. You'll have math again, in fact. So start prioritizing what's important versus what's not important. And you can just start from there. That will help out a lot.
So our next question is, I'm in SY and I know some basics of HTML. If I don't pursue it later on, can I mention that I know some basics of HTML? Yes, by all means, mention all the skills that you are aware of. Make sure that when you are questioned about those skills, you still have that information and you still know those skills. Okay, so if you're mentioning skills from 5 years before and you don't know how to code in it, how to use those skills, there's no point in mentioning those skills in your resume. If you're up to date with it, then yes. If you're not interested, still mention it because you still know it. Okay. Or the next
In fact,
question is,
in
there are
fact, I'll just add on a little. If you know some basics of HTML, you could create something for it, and that will
learn
like
CSS.
strengthen your
Oh my
position.
God, learn
Yeah,
CSS. It will be a good add-on to
create a
HTML.
very simple website for
Uh,
anything, and that could really strengthen the fact that you know something from for HTML, like you know HTML, and it's not just a line that you wrote.
the next question is, there are projects mentioned by some YouTubers. If I do these, will it affect my interview? Will it affect how an interviewer looks at my resume? Mentioned by some YouTubers, do you mean to say the popular projects that are, you know, circling
The
around on the
mainstream
get
one.
recommended systems and the iris data set ones? If yes, then see, if you are genuinely learning something out of it, then go ahead and mention it. But if it's just two lines of code and you're not understanding what is going on in the background, then there is no point in mentioning those projects. Okay, and how the question of how the interviewer looks at you or your resume, it's not what you know what popular things that you've done. It's into what depth you have understood those things because they are going to question you about what you've written on your resume. 110% because you have written those things. You have to be conscious about what you write. Anything you want to add, Aditri?
Yeah, I think we're done.
If
I think that was
uh
the last question. Uh, there were a few questions like people had written it in their expectations,
yeah,
I believe. So hold on. There is one or
tips about
a
technical
few
and HR
actually. That's
interviews.
like the do's and don'ts. Yes. Uh, so let's start there. Tips about technical and HR interviews. Okay. Um, Technical interviews. So you will have to have a very strong grasp of data structures, of the core language that you are going to give the interview for. Um, and third years will have to have a strong grasp of subjects like database management and operating systems. Microprocessors is, if you do not know the if you do not know the subject, just omit it. Just when they ask you, what subjects have you learned, do not bring it up. They tell them, yeah, I learned Java, I learned operating systems, I learned databases. They will ask you a question from the first subject that you told them, operating systems, or if you put databases for databases, and then they'll probably switch to operating systems. Microprocessors, I know, is not an easy subject. This is only for this is for computers. I'm not really sure, and IT. Uh, but this applies to every subject. If there's a subject that you're not very comfortable talking about, and you just studied it for the sake of studying it, do not bring it up. Also, first year subjects do not count. First year subjects were like a refresher course. So, other than probably like one subject that was relevant to your domain, uh, it's the others aren't really, don't try bringing it up because they make no impact on your current stream.
We
Uh,
have Yashashri with us. Yashashri, if you're comfortable, you can provide some insight. Is she even listening? Yashashri.
I don't, I think she cannot hear us. Not sure.
So about HR interviews, HR, see, you have to prepare for the basic HR questions. You can Google it. Okay, you have to be prepared for introducing yourself in every interview round. So prepare a short summary of how you're going to introduce yourself. Don't rectify it. Please do not rectify your introduction about yourself. Just know what points you're going to speak. Make it very, very brief because they don't have time to know all history about you. Just 3 lines, 4 lines at the max. Do not tell them about your family or anything. Okay, just what is relevant. Technically, see, they are not going to ask you what subjects you know. They are going to fire questions based on what they are looking for in the candidate. So that's the technical part of it. And secondly, the technical part will be what you've written on your resume. So that's where the second technical part of the interview will be. Aditri, you
Yeah.
wanna add anything?
So the HR is somebody who can, you may end up in like the final round, the HR round, and you may feel like you're almost done with it, but do not take the HR very lightly. There are people who've been removed like from the list because they didn't do well in HR, and there's a very valid reason for that because the HR person is the one responsible for the people that they're taking in. So if they do not think that your personality matches with that of the company or the company's atmosphere, you will be rejected then and there, even if your interviews have gone well. So, um, Be as respectful as you were in the prior interviews. Be as professional as you were in the Pehle interviews.
You're scared about HR and all those things, like they're not going to ask you stupid questions like your strengths and weaknesses. Gone are the days when they ask you, where do you see yourself in 5 years or anything like that. Okay, they ask you about your values, and then they compare it with the company's value that you are applying for. So if those sort of parameters match, then you're selected. Best thing that I would suggest for HR interviews is practicing with your colleagues, your seniors. Talk to your seniors. Trust me, they are going to help you. I am positive about that. Nobody's going to just ignore you and be like, what is this? Okay, they will help you out. They come with that experience to them. Anyone you know from your college or hostel roommates or any sort of point of contact, go to them, talk to them, ask them what sort of questions are asked. Can I practice with you? Practice in front of a mirror. Because trust me, do not take HR lightly. If you get rejected in HR, it's sort of really hurtful. Okay? Do not take HR lightly and think that I know I am very strong in technical, so I am sure to get through. No. Technical and HR equal weightage. Anything else? Do we
Okay.
have any more questions?
Okay, so as I said, you need to start prioritizing about what's important and what's not. You can start there. You don't have to be completely like 100% sure ki I have to do this only. Mess around with different domains,
Yes, do that. Please
videos,
do that. Please do
see what
that.
you're
Mess
interested.
around with a lot of domains because then and then only you will understand where your interest lies.
And for people who are, genuinely looking for SD and this thing, I would suggest start doing competitive programming. If you are really strong in competitive programming, there is something called as ICPC, ACM ICPC, which is one of the biggest competitive programming competitions. If you have a team that's really strong, you can apply for this, and it is a very big deal. Going for the regionals, going for the nationals, it's a very big opportunity. So you can go for that as well. And so different kinds of resumes and curriculums needed, both have been discussed. So are there any other questions?
There's this one
Or
question.
you can
I
see,
have less things to write on my resume. Will it affect my job prospects? In college, through campus placement, TNP cell, it won't because it will be mostly your technical skills that will be tested in the interview and the aptitude test. But outside of college, through LinkedIn or off-campus application, it will most probably. So you have to think on that scale. If you're in second or third year, it's fine. Don't stress about I don't have a lot of things to write in your resume. We have been there. Okay, it is fine. Just take it slow. Work on the things that you're interested in. Any else questions, Aaditree?
yeah, does anybody have anything else? I don't think there's any question that we've not covered.
Yeah, we covered different kinds of resumes. We covered do's and don'ts, how to build an impactful resume. Oh yeah, about the sharing of the guys, just wait a second. We're gonna share a Google Drive link with you, Aaditree. How are we gonna do
Yeah.
that?
Um, what we'll do is, for everybody who has RSVP'd, we'll directly send the link to you, to the club, and you can get access to that directly. Other than that, we'll also send you a form. So if you still have any other questions or you would like some help, you can always reach out to us. We will try also to build something that might help you all. But for now, we can start with the drive and the form. So I would suggest
Yeah.
that you guys do fill the form, and if you have any sort of help, or if you need any sort of help, you can always reach out to us again.
Also, if you're on LinkedIn, connect with a lot of your
Yeah.
seniors, join the Currents alumni group. That will help you a lot.
It's
Yeah,
okay if you
that's
do not
about
know
it.
the senior or your junior or peer. If you see that the person is belongs to Cummins College, just send them a request because we accept it. Everybody accepts us, irrespective of whether we know the person or not. So your first connections are
Attachment.
always going to be like your friends, your peers, your family, and then that's how you build your connections. Then your connections build on the basis of your projects, um, research, these things. Oh, also, okay, so if for people who are interested in research, just applying for the jobs is not your only way. You can always reach out to different professors. There are a lot of professors who are genuinely interested in domains, and they might put up a small message saying, I'm interested in this. If anybody else wants to do a research project with me, can you just reach out? You can send me your resume on via mail. So do forward your resume to them. If they're interested, you might get to work on a research project with them. It will be unofficial, but you'll get a lot of knowledge. And they'll be from a completely different college or from anywhere in the country or in the world. So you'll get a lot of knowledge.
That's
So,
about it,
yeah.
I think. Yeah. Let's end the session. Thank you guys for joining.